Today we're making a classic Italian spoon bread. No kneading at all. You don't even need to touch the dough. Your hands never get dirty, completely clean. It may sound hard to believe, but this bread is incredibly easy to make. Just mix everything in a bowl, spoon the dough, and it's ready for baking. Perfect, simple, and full of flavor. So, let's get started. I think this recipe is honestly one of the laziest bread recipes you'll ever make, and I mean that in the best way. There's no kneading at all, not even stretch and fold. You don't touch the dough, and your hands never get dirty. Today, I'm using 960 grams of bread flour, which is about 33.85 ounces. Bread flour is the best choice here. It gives better structure and a nicer crumb. But if you don't have bread flour, don't worry. All-purpose flour works too. Once the flour is weighed, just keep it aside for a moment. Now let's weigh the water. Today I'm using normal tap water straight from the tap. Because I'm using instant dry yeast, there's no need to activate the yeast separately. Here, I'm using 800 grams of water, that's about 28.2 ounces. Once the water is ready, add the yeast directly into it. I'm using 1.5 teaspoons of instant dry yeast, which is roughly 4.5 grams. And instant yeast can be mixed directly with cold or room temperature water. No waiting, no blooming. Give it a good mix, just until the yeast is evenly dissolved in the water. And now I'm adding extra virgin olive oil. This step is optional, but I highly recommend it. Olive oil adds a subtle fruity aroma and a depth of flavor that plain water-based dough just can't give. Once the oil goes in, give everything another good mix. Now grab a big mixing bowl and put the flour straight into the bowl. Next comes the salt. I'm using slightly more salt than a normal bread loaf, and that's on purpose. Salt brings flavor, balance, and structure to this kind of wet dough. It really makes a difference here. Now let's add some herbs. This dough is perfect for flavoring. Today I'm using 3 dried herbs: rosemary, oregano, and parsley. If you have fresh herbs, even better. Fresh herbs give an amazing aroma and deeper flavor. Once everything is in, give it a good mix, just until all the dry ingredients are evenly combined. All right, our flour mix is ready. Now let's bring everything together. Pour the yeast mixture into the flour and start mixing. Mix just until no dry flour is left. That's it. The dough should look soft, wet, and sticky, and this part is important. Don't be tempted to add extra flour. Keep mixing gently for 2 to 3 minutes. We're not building strength here. We're just combining everything nicely. You know, high hydration dough improves with time, not force. So, gentle mixing and proper resting. That's how you get an open crumb and light texture. You can see here, the dough is mixed nicely and it already looks smooth. Once it's ready, scrape down the bowl, cover it, and let it rest. You have 2 options here: 3 to 4 hours in the fridge, or even more, or 1 to 2 hours at room temperature. During this resting time, the flour fully absorbs the water. Gluten develops naturally, without kneading. After about 4 hours, look at this dough. So soft, so jiggly. When you gently shake the bowl, it wobbles like jelly. The dough looks fully hydrated and ready. Now let's transfer it to the work surface. Before transferring, dust the table generously with flour. This dough is very sticky, and flour will make it much easier to handle. Carefully transfer the dough onto the floured surface and lightly dust the top as well. Now, instead of cutting, we're going to scoop the dough. Use a large metal spoon or ladle. Wider is always better. Scoop from the edge of the dough, not the center. Lift gently. Don't shake, don't squeeze. Handle it gently, no pressing. We want to keep those air bubbles inside. Let the dough naturally drop onto the tray. This bread should look rustic, not neat. Leave some space between each piece. The dough will spread slightly during the final proof. At this stage, avoid pressing, tucking, or fixing the shape. We want to keep all that air inside. If there's excess flour on top, just lightly brush it off with a soft brush. You can make very small adjustments to the shape, but keep it gentle, no force. Cover the dough and let it rest for 20 to 30 minutes at room temperature. While the dough is resting, make sure your oven is preheating to 230 degrees Celsius, about 450 degrees Fahrenheit. During this final rest, the dough relaxes and the bubbles expand slightly. The dough should look slightly puffed, soft, and jiggly, not spreading flat. If you wait too long, the dough can overproof and collapse. Once it's ready, move straight to the oven. Bake for 25 to 30 minutes and add steam at the beginning. Steam helps the dough expand fully and creates a light, crisp crust. Now look at this bread. The color, the shape, the texture. This is a perfect Italian bread. Made without kneading and without stretch and fold. So simple, so satisfying. If you want to remember this recipe, just keep these 4 rules in mind. First one, use a high hydration dough. That's the secret to open crumb. Second one, let the dough rest properly. During resting, water fully hydrates the flour and gluten forms on its own without kneading. Third one, avoid pressing, tucking, or fixing the shape. Gentle handling keeps the bread light and airy. And fourth, always use steam at the start. It helps the bread rise better and gives you that beautiful crust. If you follow these steps, you can make perfect Italian bread at home without kneading and without stretch and fold. So how is this recipe? Did you like it? If yes, give it a thumbs up. And share it with someone who always wants to make bread at home without kneading. And don't forget to subscribe for more easy and delicious recipes. Until then, enjoy.